What's up, Commanders? Today I'm playing Game 3 of Warhammer Community's solo campaign, The Quest to Slay the Troggoth King. My Hammers of Sigmar were able to navigate the Blackrock Pass and the Strangleweed Swamp, and are now ready to venture into the Troggoth King's lair. Will they end the King's reign of terror once and for all? Or will their arduous journey be all for naught? Stay tuned to find out. The Hammers of Sigmar venture into the lair of the Troggoth King. The Lord Arcanum has equipped the Scroll of Condemnation and now has the command trait Staunch Defender from surviving the last 2 battles. He'll be accompanied by 5 Sequitors and 2 Evocators on Dracolines. One of their brothers did not make it through the pass alive. The forces of the Dankhold Trogboss are great and varied. The Stormcast Eternals can face any combination of Dankhold Troggoths, Fellwater Troggoths, Rockgut Troggoths, and even the Dankhold Trogboss himself. It isn't until the Trogboss is slain that the battle actually ends. And here's the board that we're going to be playing on today. The way this is going to work is the Stormcast will start in a 6-inch radius circle in the very middle of the board, and then they're just going to face waves and waves of Troggoths until either the Trogboss is slain or they are. And the forces are deployed. The Lord Arcanum is in the very middle, surrounded by his guard of Sequitors and the Evocators on Dracolines. In this corner we have a Dankhold Troggoth, and in that corner we have some Rockgut Troggoths. They had to be deployed within 3 inches of the corners. That's just what's going to start. After the first battle round, at the start of the battle round, I will roll to see additional reinforcements coming in. So we'll do this first round roll off. On a 1 through 3, the army of the Troggoths takes the first turn, and on a 4 through 6, it's the Hammers of Sigmar. So 1 through 3, so the Troggoths get the initiative. So we first need to find out the behavior of the trolls. Dankhold Troggoth is going to roll a 4, which means he is going to advance. The Rockguts in the very back are going to get a 5, which means they will also advance towards the Stormcasts. Rockguts moving there, Dankhold Troggoth moving there. Unfortunately, they weren't close enough to be able to charge in the same turn. So the last thing that's going to happen this turn is the Rockguts are going to throw their boulders at the Sequitors. So there are 3 models in that unit. On a 3 or less, there will be mortal wounds to the Sequitors. Nope. So that's it for the trolls. Now the Hammers of Sigmar have to decide which front they want to focus on. So since the Dankhold Troggoth has no range attacks, I think I'm actually just going to let him lumber towards the Stormcast. I'll send the Evocators over at the Rockguts, see if I can soften them up. I'll leave the Sequitors and the Lord Arcanum in the very middle and see what else comes our way. Evocators in the hero phase will try to empower their weapons, casting value of 6. And the Lord Arcanum will try to cast Thunderclap on the Rockguts and soften them up, make it so that they have -1 to hit, casting value of 6 as well. So let's head into the movement phase. We're just going to move the Evocators towards the Rockguts. Not going to run anything, just reposition the Sequitors as well. And here's the results of the movement phase. Sequitors making a little wall to protect the Lord Arcanum from the Troggoth. And the Evocators are just a couple inches away from the Rockgut Troggoths. They should be able to charge in this turn and hopefully do some damage. Evocators charge roll, able to reroll this because of Thunderous Pounce. Probably don't need to, but let's check. That'll be enough to get them in, and thankfully because of the ruins, I don't know if the other Rockguts will be able to get in either, so this is actually pretty advantageous to have a low charge roll like that. So let's go into the combat phase. 4 blade attacks coming in. 3s to wound, re-rolling. And re-rolling. -1 Ren makes this a 6-up save for the Rockguts. Saving neither. And their Stony Skin may save their wounds. 5 up. Nope. 2 wounds go through. The Prime will use his Grand Stave. 3s and 3s. Re-rolling this. The reroll didn't matter there. No Ren, so just a 5-up save. These are 2 damage apiece, so any 5-ups will be prevented. Wow, saving 3 of them. The 3 still go through. That, along with the Tempest Blade, is going to kill one of the Rockguts and move a wound onto an additional one. But the Evocators aren't done yet. Their Dracolines get to attack. 2 Dracolines with their Monstrous Claws are getting 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. -1 Rens, 6-up save. Because they charge this turn, the Dracoline gets D3 damage on its attacks for 2. And 5s for the Stony Skin save. Nothing. Let's see if the Celestial Lightning does anything. Nope. So it's actually 2 dice per model. So here's another 2 for the Celestial Lightning. Oh. So after that combat, one of the Rockguts was slain, but there's still 2 kicking. One has 1 wound, but they may be able to regenerate their next turn, and they do get the opportunity to attack back. 3s and 3s. And down to a 4 because of the Thunderclap, but there were 5s and 6s, so those still went through. So 3s to wound. 3 wounds. -2 Ren makes this a 6-up save. 6 damage is going to outright kill one and transfer a wound to the other. So the other negative effect that has on the Evocators is now they are no longer a wizard, so they won't be able to cast Empower the rest of the game, assuming that Evocator continues to survive. But that does conclude combat for this turn. There doesn't have to be any battle shocks. The Evocators have a high enough bravery that one model losing doesn't have any effect, and the Rockguts are battle shock proof in this battle plan. So let's go to round 2. At the start of the battle round, I'm going to roll to see if any trolls join the battle. That's a 4. So because there are still 2 Troggoth units on the battlefield, nothing is going to happen this round. Otherwise, I would have been able to add another unit to the battle. But the Trogg boss has still not emerged, so the battle will continue for another round. Let's roll off. Went through 3 trolls. And the Stormcast get a double turn. Let's see what they can do. So the Lord Arcanum does have the Cycle of the Storm ability. When that Evocator gets slain, it's able to bring it back with 1 wound remaining. There were still enough wounds to kill it, but that prevents 1 wound from being transferred over to this Evocator. So he's not wounded. I think the best thing to do is to have the Lord Arcanum try to take out that last wound on the Rockgut Troll, so that the Evocator can focus all of its attacks on just 1 remaining troll and get rid of that unit outright before it's able to crack back at the Evocator. So let's see if the Lord Arcanum can cast Arcane Bolt with Prime Electrodes and do some damage. D3 mortal wounds for 1, which is ignored on a 5. It is not. So one of those 2 remaining Rockgut Trolls falls over dead. For movement, I don't really want to move anywhere. I want to keep those guys in the center, wait for the trolls to come to me. So we'll go right into combat. The Evocator has 1 Rockgut Troll it still needs to dispatch. 4 stave attacks, 3s. 3s. That Empower sure would have come in handy. But the Rockgut has a 5-up save against this. And a 5-up Feel No Pain with the Stony Skin. 2 wounds down, 2 to go. Still got the monstrous claws to go. 3 claw attacks, 3s. 6 up save. And a 5 up feel no pain. There's still 1 wound remaining. Let's see if the Celestial Lightning Arc can take it out. And it does, if the Rocket Troll doesn't save it. It does not. That Rocket Troll is fallen. The Evocator was able to survive by the skin of its teeth, but now it goes to this guy's turn, and he's probably not going to be happy. And let's check the behavior. He's gonna hold. So he gets distracted by a shiny mushroom on the ground, and he's just kind of preoccupied while the Stormcast are still braced for impact. So, yeah, not much for round 2 for the trolls, but let's go into round 3. Do any trolls emerge? Nothing happens. And the Stormcast go on a 4, 5, 6. The trolls get the first turn. Come on, buddy. Let's do something this turn. Let's roll for behavior. There we go. He's going to charge into combat. Moving in like that, the Danko Trogoth will try to charge the Sequitors. Easily getting in there. So the first thing that needs to happen is the Squiggly Beast followers on the Danko Trogoth. So the Squiggly Beast followers will do an automatic mortal wound to the Lore Arcanum, and on a 6 or 5 will do 1 to the Sequitors, which it does. And the Sequitors are going to empower their shields this turn, because this is not a battle of trying to beat them down as quick as possible. This is a war of attrition. I need them to survive as long as possible. So they're going to be able to re-roll their save rolls for combat this turn. So he's going to go for that middle Sequitur and just try to crush him on a 2 or higher. Wow! The Sigmarite armor somehow protects him, and he's not crushed. So we'll just go to the Boulder Club. 3s and 3s. And 3s. Sequitors have a 4 up save going to a 6 up, but being able to re-roll those 2 fails. Wow, saving 2, but 1 does go through for 6 damage. So maybe waiting for the Trogoth to go after the Sequitors wasn't a good idea. The Lore Arcanum was able to use his healing ability on one of them to negate one of the wounds, but these Sequitors are only 2 wounds apiece, so that still did a lot of damage. Took out 3 of them. Sequitors piling in like that. If they're not able to do enough damage, I may try to get the Lore Arcanum in. I'm not sure yet, but let's try the Sequitors. Start with the Prime's Great Mace attack. 3 attacks, 3s. Into 3s. Wow. I got some Tempest Blade attacks, 3s, and 4s. No Ren makes this a 4 up save. It doesn't, that's going to do 1 damage to the Danko Trogoth, but he's still got a lot left. Yeah, he's got quite a bit of potential to do some damage, so I'll get him in. Worst case scenario, it goes to my turn next, so I should be able to pull him back out in the movement phase. After he does some magic. And the Lore Arcanum attacks with his Ether Stave. 3s. And 3s. Save goes to a 5 up, and it's saved. Wow. Yeah, I didn't do nearly as much as I wanted to that Danko Trogoth. Yeah. In the Stormcast Hero phase, let's have the Lore Arcanum do some Primal Electrodes at the Danko Trogoth. There's a chance that he resisted, but I just need to pump some wounds out. Yes, that's going to do D6 for 6 mortal wounds, unless he saves it on a 4 up. He doesn't. That's going to hurt. that powerful arcane bolt has really shifted the tides of this combat. That Evocator is going to be able to come back around, charge in, and hopefully do some damage to this Danko Troggoth before it's able to take out more of these guys. The Lord Arcanum is coming in to provide some support. Let's see if he's able to charge in. And he is. Sequitors are going to reroll their saves again, and the Squiggly Beast followers are going to be able to do some damage here. Just straight up mortal wounds to the Lord Arcanum and the Evocator, and the Sequitors on a 2 or higher. So mortal wounds all around. I think the Evocator has the best chance of taking this guy out in one hit, so we'll see if he can take down the last 3 wounds of this guy before he's able to crack back and take out my Sequitors or do some damage to my Lord Arcanum. So we'll start with the Grand Stave attacks. Getting 4 for the prime, 3s, and 3s. 4-up save, no rend. Ooh, that's going to do 4 damage. That will kill him outright. Stormcast Eternals are bloody but not beaten. Let's go into the next round and see what dangers they face next in the Danko Troggoth base. Emerging. Ooh. That means the Troggoth boss himself will be coming out to play. Where is he gonna go? From the northwest corner, the Stormcast Eternals hear a bellowing growl. The Trog boss emerges. Can they slay the Troggoth king and take his head back to the village, or will they be defeated? It's the start of the new round, so let's see who gets the first turn. And it looks like it's the Trog boss. What is the Trog boss going to do? He is going to advance. Ending his move like that. Going into the Stormcast turn, let's just try to finish this guy as quick as possible before he's able to regenerate. So, all forces move forward and attack. Starting at the hero phase, the Lord Arcanum is just going to try to cast an Arcane Bolt, soften that Trog boss up a bit. Doing D3 mortal wounds, and magical resistance kicks in on a 4-up. Nothing so far on the Trog boss. He's able to definitely defend against the magic attacks of the Sacrosanct Wizards. It's all or nothing. Evocators and Sequitors are going in for the attack. Moving in like that, the Evocator is going to try to charge. Easily getting in there. So, the Sequitors will also try to charge, but I am prepared to use a command point to reroll it if I need to. And I may need to. I actually did not. I was able to get the first guy with the shield into base contact, but I also moved the Sequitor. He's within 3 inches of the Danko Trog boss, but more than 1 inch away so that he's not susceptible to the crushing grip attack. The only target for that would be the shield guy there. But let's first see if there are some mortal wounds being dealt to the Sequitors on a 2 or higher. There is, but the Lord Arcanum is going to be able to prevent that wound, and the Evocator does take 1 as well. Sequitors are going to re-roll their hit rolls. Hopefully they'll survive to be able to attack. We'll see. 4 Grand Stave attacks coming in from the Evocators. Only 1 made it through, but it does wound. On a 4-up, that goes to a 5-up because of rend. Never mind, there was no rend, but that still does save the wound that does go through. No damage so far from the Evocators. Now the Monstrous Claws. 3s. And 3s. 5-up save. D3 damage because of the charge. 3 damage. He's got 9 left. And on a 4 or higher, the Evocator will do mortal wounds to the Danko Trog boss. one more mortal wound. So starting off with the crushing grip attacks on a 2 or higher, that guy with the shield is just smushed. And he is. And his boulder club will also try to attack that sequitur that's remaining. 3s. And 3s. 6 up, save after rend. Goes to 3, so that's just going to do d6 damage on a 2 or higher. The sequiturs are gone. And they are. So at the end of the round, only 2 Stormcast Eternals remain. The Dankhold Trogue boss still has 2/3 of its wounds remaining. Can the Stormcast survive? Let's go to the next battle round. Does anyone come to join the Trogue boss in the battle? They do. Some Felwater Troggoths come in from the side. Going to go after that Lord Arcanum. Now let's see who goes first. The Stormcast Eternals get to take their turn, preventing the trolls from regenerating. So I think the Lord Arcanum needs to make a Hail Mary play here. The Spirit Flask ability allows it to do mortal wounds at the start of the combat phase, everything within 3 inches of it, including itself. So I'm going to try to get it into combat, but more than 3 inches away from the Evocator, so it will do damage to itself and to the Dankhold Trogue boss before it's able to do some damage to the Evocators. Hopefully that'll allow the Stormcast to take out the boss before it can take out the Evocator. So first things first though, in the hero phase, I'm actually going to use the Scroll of Condemnation, which I haven't used before, and it's going to allow the Evocator to get +1 to hit rolls against the Dankhold Trogue boss. I'll also try to do some mortal wounds to it with the Prime Electrids. I've been rolling hot with that, so that's just going to do d6 mortal wounds, unless the resistance kicks in, which it doesn't. So another mortal wound dealt to the Dankhold Trogue boss. So in the movement phase, the Lord Arcanum is going to try to wrap around this Arcane Ruin and be in charge range to get into combat with the Dankhold Troggoth. With that, I need a 7-inch charge to get the Arcanum Lord into combat with the Dankhold Trogue boss, but not close enough to do damage to the Evocator on Dracoline. So, let's see if I can make that charge. I don't, but I do get a command point reroll. 12 inches will definitely get me in. And with that, the Lord Arcanum is able to get in combat with the Dankhold Trogue boss, but it is more than 3 inches away from the Evocators on Dracolines. So, I'm going to crack all 3 Spirit Flasks and try to do as much damage as possible to the Trogue boss, even if it means sacrificing the Lord Arcanum. The Lord Arcanum cracks the Spirit Flask, dealing 3 mortal wounds to himself and the Dankhold Trogue boss. He's still got 1 wound left, but next up is the Squiggly Beast Followers, which is just going to outright kill him and do a mortal wound to the Evocators. It all comes down to this: can the Evocator on Dracoline finish the fight? Here are the save attacks: 3s, but going to 2s because of the Scroll of Condemnation that the Lord Arcanum casted on the Trogue boss. 3s to wound. No Rend 2 damage, so 4 up, and none of those are saved. The Grand Stave attacks were able to fell the Dankhold Trogue boss, and the Evocator survives. Though his brothers have fallen and returned to Azyr, the Evocator on Dracoline is able to take the head of the slain Troggoth king and bring it back to the village victorious. No more shall the Troggoth king bring terror to the village.
Hey Commanders, thanks for watching that video. If you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe below. I've got lots more videos planned while I'm cooped up here in the house, and hope to have some multiplayer content soon as well. If you have any feedback or anything you'd like to see, feel free to leave a comment below. But until next time, stay safe and keep gaming.